Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy David, and I'm coming at you for the first time in a long time. Gotta stop making these so infrequently so I can catch you and build up an audience. But first time in a long time, free play mode, quick hit, and I'm here with my man Dene of Toughnerdtoys. What's going on, Dene?
Hey, what's going on, David Aaron? Thanks for having me aboard, brother. Always a pleasure to be on here.
Oh,
Feels like old times. Feels like old times, brother.
oh, just like old times for sure,
Mhm.
man. But what we're going to be talking about, we got four topics for you to mull over and discuss. It's the first two topics kind of dovetail right into each other. And what it is that Sony has canceled its PlayStation conference, the PlayStation experience, usually held in December. And following that announcement, they made an announcement that they're not going to be here at E3 in June because of what they said. Why they canceled the PlayStation experience is that it's due to a lack of announcements. So, what do you think about that today?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's so much the lack of announcements because you're starting to see a lot of major companies, a major like providers, IP providers, video game providers, and toy producers, toy producers and manufacturers not showing up at these main events anymore because, in a way, it's not lucrative for them anymore. Because honestly, sometimes the information is out there before they even go to E3. Like the information, the web is like supplying people with information, and not many people are really like, in my opinion, are really watching the E3 or like participating in the E3 like they used to before. It's not. It's just not feasible anymore. People are getting their information straight offline now.
So, like, what I believe this comes from, in my opinion, is that Sony is operating from a position of power.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of companies are.
Like, and what I mean by Sony is operating from a position of power is that they are in a comfortable lead in the console race for this generation, well
Right.
ahead of Microsoft, well ahead of Nintendo. And what they did at this past E3 is that they essentially laid out everything that they have coming for like the next 18 to 24 months. So there's really no need to do an E3 show unless
Right.
they have new games, and them pulling out of E3 this year tells us like, hey, we don't have any new games coming out, and rather than us rehash what we showed you last year, we're just gonna let what we showed last year rock because we do have hot games coming out. We do have Ghost of Tsushima coming out. We do have the Last of Us 2 coming out. They just have a lot of games coming out. And the other reason why I believe they canceled E3 is so they can focus on the eventual PlayStation 5 announcement, which I
Exactly.
believe will happen at their Sony experience in 2019.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, but it's also it's not. I don't think it's just Sony just doing this because you've seen a lot of companies and game developers and everything. Companies, game developers, so on and so forth, not going to these major functions as much as they used to anymore. Believe me when I tell you, even like Comic Con, it was a lot of like major players that are usually there that weren't there. Like they're just not going to these major functions anymore. And like you said before, they're doing everything in house, and it's like they're in a position of power. We're like, we come, we don't feel like coming today, so we're not going. You know?
Right, but also think that it kind of leaves the door open for Microsoft in a way because Microsoft has, to me, they have a lot to prove because last year they acquired all these gaming studios,
Right.
and to me, it's make or break time for Microsoft because they're a year out from acquiring all these studios, so now they have to show the fruits of their efforts. Like, what did they spend all this money on?
Yeah, you got a point there. You got a point. But
So,
yeah, it's essentially like you stated. They're in a position of power, so they can pretty much do what they want to. And like you said before, they don't really have anything to show. So what's the sense of going there, showing the same thing all over again? Let's just focus on instead of going to this E3. People already know what we got coming out and everything like that. This console is at is pretty much at its last stage. So we're focusing on PlayStation 5. You saw what we had for 4, and that's it. So
Right, and the other thing that this tells me about Sony not showing up at E3 is that their focus on Sony VR is gonna like be pushed to the background because
Yeah, I think that's done for. I really think that's done for.
like what I think I agree like VR to me I've always told people like hey it's going to be an extremely niche market, it's going to be like a hobbyist thing, it's not going to be a mainstream thing that people will buy and adopt en masse.
Right, right. I agree.
So by them not showing up to E3 this year that pretty much tells you like hey we're going to slowly phase this thing out.
Mm.
Like yeah there will be content for it but it's not going to be our main focus anymore.
Right. Yeah, because I mean that ship then came and went. Like the VR thing, then came and went. I already, honestly, I didn't see it really going that far. I really didn't because you have to understand the gaming community is not. They didn't embrace it because they're not ready to let go of the conventional controller just yet. You know what I mean? So I mean, I saw it was going. I purchased the VR set and a couple. I think I got but I got the Sony VR and a couple, and like this other one that I had gotten, and it just wasn't for me. I mean, like I like the immersive experience and everything like that, but no, it's not the. I feel as though maybe like 6 years from now, maybe 5 years from now, 3 years, whatever, it'll be more conventional or more feasible to do VR. But right now, the community doesn't want it. So.
Yeah,
And the sales prove it. The sales prove it. People don't want it.
I agree with you there because the conventional controller is hard to beat. It allows pretty much 90% of all game players to play video games. So until they find some way to top that, which is going to be a very very hard thing to do,
right?
You're not going to get any other adoption in a high rate of any other way to play video games other than games made for conventional controllers.
Absolutely, I agree completely. It's just I don't know. I saw it flopping. I really did. Like you had a lot of people like, "Oh, VR is the future." Yeah, it's the future, but not the present future. Trust me when I tell you, it's the future, but not the present future. People, like I stated before, not to repeat myself. People aren't ready to let go of the controller just yet. Not just yet.
Like yeah, maybe in as you said, like 5 to 10 years,
Yeah, like that. It'll be like more feasible or whatever the case may be. Just like when we and we're probably going to get into that topic later on. But just like when it came to like disc-based games or games based on disc and stuff like that, I was telling people like, "Yo, this stuff is going to be a thing of the past and very soon."
Like speaking of like disc-based games, we do have a rumor that Microsoft will be launching a discless version of the Xbox One in 2019.
I can see that. I don't see why they haven't done it. Why they didn't do it sooner.
Well, the reason like I see this as more of testing the waters more than a serious effort by Microsoft because what they want to test the waters for is something that Phil Spencer hinted at last E3 is that for the next Microsoft console is that they might have multiple iterations of it, and what I believe those multiple iterations will be is that there will be a diskless version and a disk-based version.
Yeah, but essentially I think they're preparing for the future because I honestly think after the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, whatever the case may be, if you get a console at all, it's not going to be disc-based. It's not. Everything is going to be either streamed or downloaded, so on and so forth. And yeah, I do understand that there are still people who love grabbing like, how can I say, hard copies of things.
Physical media.
Or like, physical media, as you stated. But I see this just totally being streamlined. Everything's going to be streamlined. It's going to be streaming services. It's going to be downloadable content for games and everything like that. And physical content is going to physical media is going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be like a niche. It's going to be like a niche niche following for those like yourself. I know you have a very vast collection of DVDs. I've seen it and it's absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? But Like me myself, I actually like the fact that things are going digital and like I don't have to have so much physical media around me because as I've gotten older, I want to streamline things. I'd like to streamline things. So I mean, like, some people it'll be a great thing, some people it'll be a bad thing. But
Like
all they're doing, if you ask me, is just preparing for the future. The
yeah,
image,
I believe this is preparing for the future, but I don't believe it's preparing for the immediate future because with 4K gaming being a thing, like have you seen the size of 4K games? Like if you go and try and download Halo 5 because it is 4K, that's a 100 gig download. And that's why I don't believe physical media is done just yet because while other countries in the world may have access to high speed internet like
right,
that
right.
is faster than us, we are the United States is actually very very far behind when it comes to high speed internet
Yes.
adaption and high speed internet speeds because there's still a good chunk of this country that does not have access to viable high speed internet, and
Right.
our high speed internet speeds, like there's only so many places where you can get like fiber optic cable internet while everybody else is still running off the old copper wire system.
Right.
So there's only so fast you can go off of the copper wire system. Like you can't get gigabit internet off of the copper wire system. You have to go to fiber optic like Fios or Google gigabit services and things of that nature.
Or whatever the case may be.
So I don't see physical media dying just yet. This discless Xbox One is more of a test to see, okay, can this be done? How people will react to it. I don't think they're gonna print up a large amount of these things. I think they're just gonna be like, okay, this is gonna be a limited run of maybe 250,000 just to see how this goes.
Oh yeah, well, see, here's the thing. I agree with you completely. And I'm not saying that immediately physical media is being going to be outsourced within like the next year or two, but later on, I always say like not too far from now, like it will be kind of like again like a niche following in terms of like those that collect or have physical media, because this right here, I don't even think it's a situation where as though they're doing it just to test the waters. They have to do it. They know they do. And GameStop is a perfect example of how people are no longer really going for physical media as they used to before. Like me myself, and again, I don't speak for the mass populace when it comes to like the main majority when it comes to like games, but I find it very convenient that I could just download the game and just wait, like just go to bed and wake up and it's already downloaded, or download the game, go run and do whatever I have to do, and I don't have to stand in line, so on and so forth. But yeah, this is something I thought Microsoft was going to do a long time ago. Actually, if you ask me, this actually would have doubled their sales in certain aspects for the Xbox.
So if this does come to fruition with Microsoft, do you think Sony will be next up to try something like this?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I actually figure as though if you ask me, I feel as though they're all going to start streamlining their services or streamlining their their content to to the sense where as though like they'll have little dongles that you just plug into the side of your TV or whatever the case may be, to where like you can just stream all the games straight to your what's the name.
So sort of like a Fire Stick, but for gaming.
Yeah, exactly. But like a little bit, a little bit more with more processing power, so on and so forth.
Right.
But like, yeah, I'm thinking that's what they're looking for. That's what they're going for. Because I really, honestly, as much as I love the console, the age of the console is coming to an end. It is coming to an end. If you ask me, I believe the age of the console is coming to an end, and it's all going to be about brands. Like the Xbox brand is going to.
I believe the age of the console is coming to a brand because you do hear people like Phil Spencer talking about Xbox as a platform and not just a singular console.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So,
absolutely.
Like this ties into the next generation of consoles because like I believe the next generation of consoles will be close in spec to the point where there will be no differentiating the PlayStation 5 and whatever Microsoft decides to call its next console. And I believe that the next console generation will be more about features that enhance your gameplay experience. Like Microsoft is saying, oh, this is going to be the Xbox platform, and we're going to allow you to play all your games from previous Xbox consoles. So that's something that they have going for them. So
Right.
next generation, in my opinion, will be about features and not necessarily hardware specs.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it'll be, if you ask me, it'll be all about streaming. It'll be all about streaming. And like, again, like you stated before, everybody doesn't have access to high speed internet, but it's going to come because it's going to come to a point where it's just like a mainstay to have high speed internet. And with that, they're going to really roll out their like, and because think about it, it's a win-win for them, especially if they like able to just like pretty much like have a streaming service to where so like minimum amount of finances or money is being put into like hardware in terms of like creating consoles and all this other stuff. When you can just like give you a little dongle or a cube or whatever. Again, similar to like Amazon or Fire Stick or whatever the case may be, with stronger specs to handle the games that they can stream or run or download to that dongle or device. So I mean,
Yeah.
only time will tell. But I definitely I thought they would have done this earlier, honestly. And that's me just thinking like business wise and stuff like that. But again, their target or their directives in terms of like what is more pertinent for that time is completely different from my thought process. So,
Right. So moving right along to our last topic is that Microsoft has acquired yet another game. Well, not another, but another two gaming studios, and that at their Microsoft showcase in Mexico City, they announced Obsidian and NXile Entertainment Studios as their latest acquisitions under their Microsoft games. And that brings their studio count up to roughly 13 studios. So you cannot say any longer, well, Microsoft has no excuse to say, well, we don't have people to make games. Well, you got 13 studios now. Now is the time to put up or shut up for Microsoft, because right now they're tooling up for the next generation, in my opinion.
Right. And again, if you ask me, a console is only as good as their games. That's it. I don't care what nobody says. A console is only as good as their games. Like a lot of people ask me, like, "Oh, why do you have a PlayStation? Oh, why do you have an Xbox? Oh, why do you have a Nintendo?" Oh, I said because each one gives me an experience that I enjoy. I said it's not like I'm like, they'd be like, why you don't just like PlayStation? I said no, I play PC. I'm multi-platform, so there's no one console that I enjoy. But what they're doing, what they're doing, and hopefully they stick to their guns on this, is start bringing out some proprietized good proprietized content on some AAA games that only they can offer. You know what I'm saying? Exclusive games. They have to have exclusive games because. No, go ahead.
See, that's the thing. Like, I think I was discussing this with a coworker on Friday, and I think the era of the AAA game is dying out, because with these acquisitions, like if you look at these studios that Microsoft has acquired, they've acquired Undead Labs, PlayStation Playground Games, Ninja Theory, Compulsion Games, NXL, and Obsidian.
Right.
And those are development studios that are known for making good mid-range games for top flight developers. So I do think the era of the AAA title is like dying down. Like you won't see like a publisher put out multiple AAA titles in a single year. Like you may see like one or two a year, then a bunch of mid-range games to supplement that AAA title. Because if you've noticed, like the top games have been these mid-range games, like these AA titles, these modern retro titles, things of that nature.
Right. But I agree. Yeah, I agree completely, because as you can see now, like the AAA titles are actually like becoming few and far between. We're like in like around about 2010, 2009, 2008, 2009, 10, 11. You were seeing AAA titles being thrown out left and right. AAA. We're like now, it's like these bare minimum base like bare bones, bare minimum games. But then like what they do is offer a simplistic experience, but they also offer like, how can I say, in-game purchases. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, I guess with these like mid-range games, they're able to stay within budget, but also like probably like how can I say, make a profit.
Yeah, like they're not throwing at like 25, 30, 40 million dollars at a game
No.
each
That
time
like you
out.
stated before, that is over with. They're no longer
Yeah, you'll see that maybe once every
one.
2 to 3 years,
Yeah. Once
and
they're doing
then
that
the
like as a mainstay.
the rest of the time you'll see like the 12 to 15 million dollar games and
Right.
your smaller studios that focus on like the modern day retro titles, and
Right.
like you'll see like games focused more on the single player experience or small limited multiplayer, to where it's not like, okay, there are 30 players in this game. No, it'll be like a Fallout 76 where you can squad up with 3 other players and have fun that way.
Yeah. You know what? Not to get off topic, I heard that Fallout 76, a lot of people are pissed off at it.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Like I've
Well, I
seen
was gonna
some.
get it. I was gonna get it, but I heard a lot of people are pissed off about that, bro. They are not liking it at all. And Bethesda's trying to play cleanup right now.
Like I've seen some reaction videos to it, and yeah, they're not happy about it. And I saw this one reaction video where dude actually tried to take it back to GameStop, and they wouldn't take it back. So dude like literally put a wreck on the GameStop, just pushed everything over, threw stuff, all that shit.
It's really that bad. You know what? I gotta go online and watch some footage of it, see what it's all about. And like because they were people are pissed about it. And usually Bethesda has a good track record with like putting out games. Yeah, they're usually very glitchy and stuff like that, filled with
I
glitches.
think that's the issue, is that they didn't have enough beta time, so there are a lot of glitches from the outset of the game. Usually in Bethesda games like Skyrim and Fallout 4 and even
Right.
Fallout 3, like there were glitches, but you had to be well into the game to experience them.
Right.
And now with Fallout 76, players are experiencing these game-breaking glitches like less than an hour into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. They're gonna have to do some heavy cleanup with this one because it's bad. Like I've been reading, because I was gonna get into it. I was like, oh, let me check out Fallout 76 because I know a bunch of friends that play Fallout. Like me myself, I would casually play Fallout, but I was like, let me get Fallout 76 because me and my friend Kenny, we were gonna play it, and there's a couple other friends were gonna play it, and they were like, don't get that junk, don't get that junk, it's garbage, it's garbage. I said, really? They said, yeah, it's garbage. I was like, oh man. I'm like, okay, so
yeah, I've been reading like some reactions of some people on Facebook that are on my friends list, and they're not happy. They're not happy with it at all, because one person shared a screenshot where one of the NPCs glitched out, looked like an exomorph from Alien, and like the neck was just like out there, and it was like, wow, what the fuck is going on here? So it's like some wild ass glitches that people are running into.
Yeah, Bethesda got to tighten up, bro. Y'all got to tighten up, man. Y'all messed up, man. Pissed off. They are pissed off. I'm serious. You had to see it. People were pissed off.
Oh, no doubt. So now that we've covered those 4 topics, and like, what do you think all of this combined means for the gaming industry going forward? Like Microsoft potentially releasing the Discless Xbox One, combined with them getting 13 development studios under the belt, Sony canceling out on E3 and canceling out on their PlayStation experience. What do you see as the future of the gaming industry within the next like year or two?
I see, honestly, more games coming out at a cheaper. It's a win again. It's a win-win for Microsoft and these gaming producers and these gaming companies, but it's also a win for us because I can tell like what they're going to try to do is give like these low to mid-range, these mid-range to low games out there, but at the same token keeping it cost-effective for them. You know what I mean? And also they're trying to they're trying to eliminate a lot of overhead with like visiting going to these E3s. Because don't think it's just as simple as them just going there and showing their stuff. No, there's a lot of money involved when they go to these E3s and so on and so forth. So again, it's just pretty much them cutting the middleman, cutting the fat, getting rid of like the unnecessary like exhibitions that pretty much they can just do on their own and preparing for the future. All of this is preparation for the future.
Yeah, I agree. Like on Sony, like I think they're focusing now on the PlayStation 5 because I expect that to drop in 2020. So I think that's where all their focus is, and they're going to reveal it at the end of 2019.
Right.
So, like, yeah, you'll hear stuff from them, but I agree it won't be like at huge trade shows or anything like that. They may show up. They may have like limited experiences at like GDC and things of that nature where they have their booth and show off some stuff, but they're not going to do like these huge flashy presentations.
No.
I think Microsoft is still in a position where they have to do those because they have to get their investors as well as their fan base excited about what's coming.
Right.
Whereas Sony is like, okay, we don't have to do this just yet. Like when we're ready to announce the PlayStation 5, that is when we're going to do it again. But for the immediate future, we don't see the need.
Right. I agree.
Where as far as Microsoft with the Discless system, as well as acquiring these studios, it's like now they have no excuse. They have the development studios. They have noteworthy development studios at that.
Right.
Like these studios are known for making quality games. They're not known for making AAA titles, but they are known for making quality games. And people will expect Microsoft to be pumping out quality games. They're not going to look the best, but they expect quality.
Right. I agree.
So, with all that being said, Dene, do you have any closing thoughts on anything else gaming related?
Closing thoughts, I would basically say, like, I mean, the writing was on the wall for all of this. I mean, like, if you've been in the gaming scene like ourselves, or I mean, I've been in there for years, you've been in it for years, you pretty much see when like a console is coming to its end. You see when they're trying to do something new and innovative, but you also see when they're trying to save money or trying to cut a lot of overhead, as I stated before. Will this new console, I mean, like, will this discless console be be like a major game changer? No, but it will set them in a position where they will know where to allocate money and where to allocate funds for, in terms of like, should we push full steam ahead in terms of like discless, or should we just keep it at what it is, or whatever the case may be? Because again, the gaming scene is very funny. What you think they will grasp onto, they don't always do, a la VR. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I just think it's them playing safe. Both companies playing it safe, but one has more to prove than the other one. Whereas though the other one, like, and that's Microsoft. Microsoft has a lot to prove because they've messed up a few times. They made a lot of promises that they didn't keep. So did Sony, but Sony pretty much has how can I say, their following overlooks a lot of their mistakes, whereas the Xbox community is just like, and like, they're a little bit more trenchant, or like a little bit more stern in terms of mistakes, and like they want, Microsoft has to put forth that effort to show them like, look, we're really doing our best now. We really want to bring you guys some quality content, and we want to keep you as customers. You know what I mean? So essentially, that's how I'm looking at it. Everybody's putting their best foot forward to like pretty much like solidify themselves in the future, or like the games race, so that they pretty much, if not come out on top, be at level with the one that's like, leading the way.
Like I agree with you. Like especially with the disc base, this is more of like essentially a beta test.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're gonna put this out, see how people respond to it, and if people respond to it positively, then we'll probably make this like an option that people can have in addition to our main console in the next generation. We won't have this as our like main option, but it'll be there for people who want to not have to go to, like you said, not have to go to a game store or stand in line or anything like that. As for Sony, like, I think they don't have to do anything. Like
Oh,
they've got the fans hype, they've got their investors hype, the excitement for PlayStation platform as a platform is at an all-time high because it's on
right.
pace to beat out the PlayStation 2 in terms of sales. And you know how big of a monster that was. And it's like I think the gaming industry going forward as a whole, with the inclusion of Nintendo, is in an extremely good place.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
we're going to see innovation from all three platforms in terms of services. Like Nintendo had, like I originally doubted the Nintendo Switch, but I like what it has accomplished because I do like the ability to take it on the go as well as play it at home. And I think that's going to be their niche. What
Right.
Microsoft and Sony's niche going forward will be, that is the big question for both of them.
What do you think about them in terms of trying to like capitalize on this portable market in terms of like with the Switch where it's able to go? Do you think they're going to make like a portable system? Because you notice, like, PlayStation has failed with like the what was that, the PlayStation Vita, and I told everybody that wasn't going anywhere. But for some apparent reason, Nintendo is flourishing. So do you think Microsoft and Sony are going to try to do something where like the gaming is going to be on the go or something like that?
I don't think so because Nintendo exists in a very, very unique space where the problem why the Vita and the PSP ultimately failed is that they were trying to give you full size console experiences while on the go, and that's not how people play video games on the go.
Yeah, but Nintendo does it.
Yeah, but they also give you that bite size. Like if you play Nintendo games, like I can play Breath of the Wild at home and sit down for hours and hours. I can sit down and play Mario Kart. I can also sit down and play Odyssey and Donkey Kong for hours and hours at home. But
Right.
if I take those same games on the road with me or at work, I can sit down in like 10-minute chunks and play a little bit, put it down, not feel like have to like play more in order to like get the full experience.
Understand.
So
I
so,
understand
so
completely.
Nintendo has somehow managed to make those games where you can enjoy it in small chunks as well as large chunks. That's something that Sony has not learned yet, and I don't think they will ever be able to learn that. When Microsoft has not even bothered to try, which I think is smart of them.
Right.
So I don't see Microsoft getting into the portable console race at all because if they were going to do it, the time to do it was like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, they would have been done it. I just thought that maybe they will try to like, like have something in comparison with the Nintendo Wii, I mean the Nintendo Switch and so on and so forth. But again, like you said, they're going to stay within their lane or whatever the case may be. And again, Nintendo has that niche already. Like that's their thing, that's their gimmick. So it works for them. And what works for them won't work for Microsoft or Sony, whatever the case may be. It just won't.
So I do thank you for coming on the podcast today, and
No, absolute pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be on your show, brother.
I do look forward to having you again in future episodes. This is Dave from the Free Play Mode and Dene from Tough Nerd Toys. Be sure to check out his website, toughnerdtoys.com, for all your action figure needs, as well as the Tough Nerd Toys podcast, which features a certain host of this podcast on there. And
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful host.
and that's it, folks. We checking out. Look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.
Take care, everybody.